Hello, Namaskar. This is CVR English, and it's time to roll this special afternoon bulletin with me, Anukriti Sharma. At the Janata Ki Adalat event, the former Delhi Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party National Convener Arvind Kejriwal expressed his views on the recent exit polls, asserting that the Bharatiya Janata Party's double-engine governments in Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir are on their way out. He claimed that the failure of this dual governance model was evident when the BJP lost 240 seats in June. Kejriwal also predicted further decline in Jharkhand and Maharashtra as well, stating that the public has now recognized that this double-engine government translates to rising inflation, unemployment along with corruption. His remarks aimed to galvanize support for the Aam Aadmi Party and also highlight the perceived shortcomings of the current BJP administration. Take a look.
भगवान है, अरे बहुत बुरा करेगा तुम लोगों का, इनकी हाय लगेगी। ये गरीब हैं सारे, ये कोई अमीर लोग नहीं है। इनकी तनख्वाह रोक ली, इनकी नौकरियां छीन ली, हाय लगेगी तुमको लगता है ऐसे तुम दिल्ली जीतोगे? अरे कुछ अच्छे काम करो यार। तुम्हारे पास इतनी बड़ी ताकत है, केंद्र सरकार में तुम्हारी सरकार है, इतना पैसा है, कुछ अच्छे काम करते। लेकिन अब चिंता मत करना, तुम्हारा केजरीवाल आ गया, सबकी तनख्वाह दिला दूंगा। सारे काम करा दूंगा, सबकी तनख्वाह दिला दूंगा, सबकी नौकरी वापस करवाऊंगा। जितने बस मार्शल हैं, सारे बस मार्शल को कहना चाहता हूं, आपका बड़ा भाई आ गया, लड़ेंगे। कल मैंने देखा कैसे सौरभ भारद्वाज विजेंद्र गुप्ता के पैरों के अंदर पड़ा था। ये छोटी बात नहीं है भाई साहब, बहुत बड़ी बात है। कोई मंत्री बन जाए, उसका ऐसा अहंकार हो जाता है। मैं अभी इनके एक मंत्री का बयान बताऊंगा। हमारे मंत्री दिल्ली के लोगों के लिए इनके पैरों में भी गिर जाते हैं। कल सौरभ भारद्वाज बीजेपी के पैरों में नहीं गिरा था। सौरभ भारद्वाज कौन है? ये कोई एक शख्स नहीं है, दिल्ली के 2 करोड़ लोगों द्वारा चुना हुआ मंत्री है, आपका मंत्री है। कल सौरभ भारद्वाज बीजेपी के पैरों में नहीं था, इस देश का जनतंत्र बीजेपी के पैरों में गिर के कराह रहा था। बड़ी शर्म आई। जिस पार्टी को 62 सीटें दी लोगों ने और जिस पार्टी को 8 सीटें दी, वो 62 सीटों वाली सरकार बीजेपी के पैरों में गिर के उनसे भीख मांग रही है, हमारे बस मार्शल्स को बचा लो। मैं जब जेल गया, इन्होंने आपकी सड़कें खराब कर दी, सड़कों की रिपेयर बंद करा दी, जगह जगह सीवर की मेंटेनेंस बंद करा दी। इन्होंने, हम दवाइयां फ्री देते हैं अस्पतालों में, मोहल्ला क्लिनिक में, फ्री दवाई, फ्री टेस्ट का इंतजाम किया है। 8 साल से सही चल रहा था, सबको फ्री दवाइयां मिल रही थी, सबको 9 साल से फ्री दवाइयां, फ्री टेस्ट। मैं जेल गया, इन्होंने आपकी दवाइयां बंद करा दी, इन्होंने आपके टेस्ट बंद करा दिए। मेरे को बड़ी तकलीफ हुई। अरे इस पृथ्वी के ऊपर भगवान ने भेजा है कुछ पुण्य कमाने के लिए यार। कौन कौन मानता है भगवान है? अरे बहुत बुरा करेगा तुम लोगों का, इनकी हाय लगेगी। ये गरीब हैं सारे, ये कोई अमीर लोग नहीं है। इनकी तनख्वाह रोक ली, इनकी नौकरियां छीन ली, हाय लगेगी तुमको लगता है ऐसे तुम दिल्ली जीतोगे? अरे कुछ अच्छे काम करो यार। तुम्हारे पास इतनी बड़ी ताकत है, केंद्र सरकार में तुम्हारी सरकार है, इतना पैसा है, कुछ अच्छे काम करते। लेकिन अब चिंता मत करना, तुम्हारा केजरीवाल आ गया, सबकी तनख्वाह दिला दूंगा। सारे काम करा दूंगा, सबकी तनख्वाह दिला दूंगा, सबकी नौकरी वापस करवाऊंगा। जितने बस मार्शल हैं, सारे बस मार्शल को कहना चाहता हूं, आपका बड़ा भाई आ गया, लड़ेंगे। कल मैंने देखा कैसे सौरभ भारद्वाज विजेंद्र गुप्ता के पैरों के अंदर पड़ा था। ये छोटी बात नहीं है भाई साहब, बहुत बड़ी बात है। कोई मंत्री बन जाए, उसका ऐसा अहंकार हो जाता है। का बयान बताऊंगा। हमारे मंत्री दिल्ली के लोगों के
Commenting on the Haryana Assembly elections, the farmer leader Rakesh Tikait, now he has stated that any government that resorts to lathi charge against its citizens is bound to face consequences. Quite true, in fact. He expressed that the farmers, unable to retaliate physically against the police, would now seek revenge at the ballot box since this is a democracy, emphasizing that the current Bharatiya Janata Party will be defeated. Tikait confidently predicted that the Congress would emerge victorious in forming the new government, reflecting on the growing discontent among the farmers and the voters in that state. Take a look at this report.
अरे बारी में कहा हुई है, पुलिस ने सारे रोक दिए रास्तों में। बारी में कहाँ इकट्ठे हुए? रास्ते में रोके, जगह जगह जो बसें आनी थी उनके घर पे जाकर बैठ गए। बसों को ड्राइवर को लेकर उतार कर थाने में, तो कैसे आएंगे लोग?
क्या कहना चाहेंगे सर
आज वार्ता है, बातचीत करेंगे इनसे। किसान के जो इशू हैं, वो चाहे बिजली का इशू हो, गन्ने का भुगतान नहीं हुआ उसका इशू हो, तो धान आ गया उसकी खरीद का इशू रहेगा। एमएसपी गारंटी कानून बने देश में, वो एक बड़ा इशू है।
एक और बड़ा अहम सवाल है सर, हरियाणा चुनाव में
अरे हो लिया चुनाव हरियाणा का, भाई उन्होंने लाठी बजाई तो चुनाव चलेगा जी। सरकार जो लाठी बजाएगी वो सरकार जाएगी। साइलेंट चुनाव है।
किसान आंदोलन का बड़ी
हाँ बिल्कुल परिणाम है, बदला है किसान आंदोलन का। किसान ने बदला ले लिया भाई। किसान वो लाठी थोड़ा चलाएगा फोर्स पे, वो बदला चुनाव मिलेगा, उसने ले लिया।
तो क्या स्थितियां रहने वाली? क्या
रहने का हार की सरकार वहां की, कांग्रेस की वहां सरकार बनेगी।
चौधरी साहब
अरे बारी में कहा हुई है, पुलिस ने सारे रोक दिए रास्तों में। बारी में कहाँ इकट्ठे हुए?
पुलिस ने रास्ता रोक दिया।
रास्ता
During the Janata Ki Adalat event, Delhi Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party leader Atishi has emphasized that the unique achievements of Arvind Kejriwal's administration, noting that Delhi provides a 24-hour electricity even during extreme heat conditions, often resulting in zero bills for its residents. She accused the BJP of being an anti-poor party, being anti-Aam Aadmi rather, that exacerbates hardships for those who are underprivileged. Atishi further criticized the BJP-led central government for its ongoing demolition of the Jhuggi Jhopadis, which are the informal settlements across Delhi, and for also halting the old age pensions 6 months ago, asserting that these actions contribute to the suffering of the poor.
सब लोग अपनी मुट्ठी तानेंगे और जोरदार जयकारे से शुरुआत करेंगे। भारत माता की, भारत माता की वंदे वंदे इनकलाब इनकलाब। यहां मंच पर बैठे आम आदमी पार्टी के सभी वरिष्ठ नेतागण, दिल्ली के अलग अलग हिस्सों से आए भाइयों बहनों बुजुर्गों, सबको मेरा नमस्कार, सबको मेरा प्रणाम और आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि इतनी तपती हुई गर्मी में दिल्ली के अलग अलग हिस्सों से यहां आप अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को सुनने आए हैं, उनकी जनता की अदालत में आए हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप दिल्ली के अलग अलग हिस्सों से आए हैं। मैं आप सबको याद कराना चाहूंगी कि 10 साल पहले की दिल्ली कैसे होती थी। 10 साल पहले की दिल्ली में इस तपती हुई गर्मी में लंबे लंबे पावर कट लगा करते थे। 2015 में अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की सरकार बनने से पहले 2014 तक की गर्मी में 8-8 घंटे के पावर कट दिल्ली में लगा करते थे। लंबे लंबे पावर कट लगने के बावजूद महंगे महंगे बिजली के बिल आया करते थे और एक सामान्य मिडिल क्लास का परिवार सोचता था कि बिजली का बिल देने के लिए घर का कोई और खर्चा काटना पड़ेगा, बिजली बिल देने के पैसे नहीं होते थे एक आम परिवार के पास। कच्ची कॉलोनियों में, झुग्गी झोपड़ियों में महिलाओं को घंटों तक पानी के टैंकर के इंतजार में खड़ा होना पड़ता था। हाथ में एक कनस्तर लेके पानी के टैंकर का इंतजार करती थी। पानी की पाइपलाइन नहीं होती थी कच्ची कॉलोनियों में और झुग्गी झोपड़ियों में। सरकारी स्कूलों का जो हाल होता था, जहां आम परिवारों के, गरीब परिवारों के बच्चे जाते थे, स्कूल के अंदर घुसिए तो सबसे पहले टॉयलेट, सब लोग अपनी मुट्ठी तानेंगे और जोरदार जयकारे से शुरुआत करेंगे। भारत माता की, भारत माता की वंदे वंदे।
Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Vijay Kumar Sinha has criticized the Rashtriya Janata Dal Supremo and former Railway Minister Lalu Yadav, labeling him as one of the most corrupt persons in politics. Unquote. He highlighted Yadav's past involvement in the railway appointment scam, noting that he had to put his entire family on bail. Sinha pointed out the railway accidents which occurred during Yadav's tenure, asserting that public safety had been severely compromised at the time, whereas travel had become significantly safer today. He credited Prime Minister Modi ji for curbing terrorism and extremism in the country, stating that efforts have been made to foster a corruption-free environment in the country.
देखिए, जनता मालिक है। जनता के जनादेश जो आता है जाके उससे पूछिए। जो बूथ के ईवीएम पर प्रश्न उठाते हैं, अब ईवीएम पर प्रश्न बंद हो गया, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ जनता की विश्वास है और वो रिजल्ट में परिणित होगा। 370 धारा हटाने का झूठा वादा, जनता को लोभ लुभावना वादा, उन्माद पैदा करके वोट की राजनीति करने वाले लोगों को तत्कालिक कुछ लाभ मिलेगा, अस्थायी नहीं।
बंगाल में डॉक्टर आज आपसे हड़ताल पे चले गए,
अनशन पे है और एक बच्ची के साथ भी दुष्कर्म हुआ है।
देखिए, ममता सरकार पूरी तरह से फेल है, अराजकता के शिकार है और ममता सरकार भारत के संविधान के विरुद्ध ये लोग काम कर रहे हैं। जनता के विश्वास पर कहीं से खरा नहीं उतर रहे हैं, तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति में बंगाल को बर्बाद कर रहे हैं।
आज से मुख्यमंत्री बालिका कैंसर प्रतिरक्षण योजना की शुरुआत हुई है। ये जो बच्चेदानी के मुख पे कैंसर होता है महिलाओं को, उससे बचाव के लिए ये टीका दिया जाता है। और बिहार देश का पहला ऐसा राज्य है जिसने अपने राज्य के बच्चियों को, जिनकी उम्र 9 वर्ष से 14 वर्ष तक की है, उनको मुफ्त में देने का निर्णय किया है। और अभी प्रारंभिक अनुमान है कि इस वर्ष लगभग 150 करोड़ के करीब रुपए खर्च होंगे। मैं आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री जी को, अपने वित्त मंत्री और उप मुख्यमंत्री जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं। उन्होंने इसकी स्वीकृति दी है। और आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का जो सपना है कि हम सब लोगों को नर सेवा करना है, मानव का सेवा करना है स्वास्थ्य विभाग से, इस कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की सोच को भी हम जमीन पे उतार रहे हैं। और ये योजना आज बिहार में 5 जिलों में शुरू हुई है। अभी पटना, मुजफ्फरपुर, सीवान, नालंदा और पूर्णिया। अगले 1 महीने में पूरे राज्य में ये टीकाकरण सभी जगहों पे शुरू हो जाएगा। हाँ, मैंने कहा ये चूंकि एक विशेष प्रकार का टीका है और हम सब लोग टीका देने वाले अपने एएनएम को भी ट्रेनिंग देके ये काम कराते हैं। तो ये सब शुरू हो गया है काम। धीरे धीरे प्रक्रिया आगे बढ़ती जाएगी और ये नंबर जो केंद्र है वो बढ़ते जाएंगे।
रेलवे पर सवाल खड़े किए हैं कि प्राइवेटाइजेशन कर दिया, अब मीटर भी बेचेंगे।
जिस व्यक्ति ने रेलवे की जमीन को बेचकर अपनी अकूत संपत्ति बनाई हो, जिसके ऊपर रेलवे की संपत्ति को बेच के परिवार के लिए अकूत संपत्ति कमाने के मामले चल रहे हैं, परिवार के लोग वैसे मामलों पर बेल पे हो, तो उस व्यक्ति के किसी इस प्रकार के बयान का कोई मतलब नहीं रह जाता है। जो व्यक्ति स्वयं रेलवे मंत्री के रूप में रेलवे के संपत्ति के बदले अपनी संपत्ति बनाने का जिन्होंने प्रयास किया हो, उससे समझा जा सकता है कि वो कैसे थे उस वक्त। और आज जो बयान वो दे रहे हैं, यदि यही सोचे होते उस वक्त तो शायद वो सब गलतियां वो न किए होते।
बंगाल में फिर से जूनियर डॉक्टर अमरन अनशन।
बंगाल की जो सरकार है और वहां की जो मुख्यमंत्री हैं सुश्री ममता बनर्जी जी, वह मानवता को जीवित नहीं रहने देना चाहती, महिलाओं के मान सम्मान को ठीक नहीं रहने देना चाहती। और स्वयं महिला होते हुए भी किस प्रकार से पश्चिम बंगाल में महिलाओं को अपमानित किया जा रहा है, उनके इज्जत आबरू को चोट पहुंचाने की कोशिश हो रही है, ये पूरी दुनिया देख रहा है। लेकिन ममता बनर्जी जी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है। और जो अभी का आरजी कर हॉस्पिटल का मामला हुआ और उसको लेके चिकित्सकों ने, वहां के छात्र छात्राओं ने और संपूर्ण पश्चिम बंगाल के चिकित्सकों ने जो बातें उठाई, जो मांगे रखी, पहले तो ममता बनर्जी की सरकार बात करने को तैयार नहीं थी। जब बात करने को तैयार हुई तो वो डॉक्टरों की बात सुनने को तैयार नहीं है। डॉक्टर भय में है, डॉक्टर और खास करके जो महिला चिकित्सक हैं, और मैं तो कहूंगा संपूर्ण महिला जो पश्चिम बंगाल की है, वो सब भयाक्रांत है, क्योंकि सबको अपनी इज्जत आबरू का डर लगता है। और हमारे जो चिकित्सक अपनी वाजिब बातों को वहां सरकार के सामने कह रहे हैं, रख रहे हैं, वो ममता बनर्जी सुनने को तैयार।
In response to the tragic alleged rape and murder of a minor girl in South 24 Paraganas, Union Minister in West Bengal, Bharatiya Janata Party President Sukant Majumdar, along with party leader Agnimitra Paul and other BJP members, they organized a protest in the region. The protest aims to draw attention to the increasing incidents of violence and crime against women and children, calling for justice and stronger measures to ensure safety in the area. The leaders have also expressed their outrage over this incident and they have demanded accountability from the local authorities. Take a look.
ঠিক আরজি করার বিচার চাই, কুলতু নির্বাপিত বিচার চাই, দিকে দিকে মা বোনের উপর অত্যাচার হচ্ছে সত্ত্বেও তৃণমূল তুমি জবাব দাও, দিকে দিকে মা বোনের উপর অত্যাচার হচ্ছে সত্ত্বেও আরজি তুমি জবাব দাও, ওই জবাব তোমার দিতে হবে, জবাব তোমার দিতে হবে, তৃণমূল প্রাণায়ণ আইসি ঠিক 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 কাজ।
The Director General of Telangana Police, Dr. Jitendra, has visited the Tirumala Tirupati temple accompanied by his family. This visit reflects his devotion and it also highlights the cultural significance of the temple, which is a major pilgrimage site in India. Dr. Jitendra's presence at the temple underscores the importance of spiritual practices in public service and personal life. Take a look.
అర్థం విఖ్యాత వికాస్ కొద్దిగా
Meanwhile, Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel has addressed a public gathering following the inauguration of the Arogyam Cancer and Super Speciality Hospital. In his speech, he highlighted the government's commitment to enhancing the healthcare infrastructure in the country and also in the state, along with improving access to specialized medical services for cancer treatment. Patel emphasized the importance of such facilities in providing timely and effective care to the patients, and he has also encouraged the entire community to utilize these resources available at the new hospital for their health needs.
પંચમહાલ, મહીસાગર અને દાહોદ જિલ્લાની સૌથી મોટી કેન્સર અને મલ્ટી સુપર સ્પેશિયાલિટી હોસ્પિટલ આરોગ્યમના શુભારંભ પ્રસંગે આપણી સૌની સાથે મંચ ઉપર ઉપસ્થિત પૂજ્ય ગોસ્વામી 108 શ્રી દ્વારકેશલાલજી મહારાજ, વિધાનસભાના ઉપાધ્યક્ષ શ્રી જેઠાભાઈ ભરવાડ, सांसद श्री जसवंत सिंह भाभोर, श्री राजपाल सिंह यादव, जिला पंचायतना प्रमुख श्रीमती रेणुकाबेन दायरा, हमारा साथी धारासभ्य श्री निमिषाबेन सुथार, श्री के राहुल जी, श्री फतेह सिंह चौहान, श्री जेवी काकड़िया जी, हॉस्पिटलना चेरमेन श्री रक्षित भाई शाह, जिल्लाना अध्यक्ष श्री अश्विन भाई पटेल, संगठनना प्रभारी श्री भरत भाई डांगर, जिला शिक्षण समितिना चेरमेन श्री अरविंद सिंह परमार, गोधरा बैंकना चेरमेन श्री केटी परीख, चूंटायेला जनप्रतिनिधि, संगठनना पदाधिकारी, सौ डॉक्टर मित्रों, आमंत्रित महानुभावों, प्रेस मीडियाना मित्रों, सौने मारा नमस्कार। गर्मी हजू सखत है, केम त्यां बेसवुं मुश्केल पड़े एवुं छे। मां आद्यशक्तिनी उपासनाना पर्व नवरात्रिनो आजे चौथो दिवस छे। चौथा नोरताना पावन दिवसे आदिवासी बहुमूल्य पंचमहालना आदिवासी बांधवोने आरोग्य सेवानी एक मोटी भेट मळी रही छे। विश्व नेता अने देशना यशस्वी वडाप्रधान श्री नरेन्द्रभाई मोदी एक राजनेता तरीके संवेदनशीलता साथे अने दीर्घदृष्टिथी जनता जनार्दननी आरोग्यनी रक्षा करी शकाय तेनुं उत्तम दृष्टांत पूरुं पाड्युं छे। तेमनी आवी संवेदनशीलता अने दीर्घदृष्टि पर देशनी जनताए मोहर मारीने तेमने सतत त्रीजी वार देशनुं सेवा दायित्व सोंप्युं छे। वडाप्रधानश्रीए देशना गरीब, आदिवासी अने जरूरियातमंद लोकोनी सस्ती और सारी स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं दवाओं उपलब्ध थाय ते पाछला 10 वर्ष में सुनिश्चित कर्युं छे।
Shifting lens to Congress, the Congress leader Ashok Tanwar has expressed his confidence that this time the people of Haryana will deliver a significant mandate to the Congress party in the exit polls. He stated that under the leadership of Rahul Gandhi, a Congress government will be established for sure in Haryana. Tanwar has emphasized that voters have placed their true trust in the guarantees provided by the Congress party, highlighting the party's commitment to addressing the needs and concerns of the electorate.
एग्जिट पोल आया है, क्या मानना है आपका?
देखिए, एग्जिट पोल ही है और उसमें कुछ ना कुछ तो सच्चाई होती हो, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा मैंडेट इस बार हरियाणा के लोग देंगे ऐसा हम सब लोगों को यकीन है और सभी में स्पष्ट बहुमत तो मिल ही रहा है। पोल ऑफ जो एग्जिट पोल्स है उसमें भी 55-60 के बीच में सीटें आ रही हैं। हरियाणा राहुल गांधी जी के नेतृत्व में मैं समझता हूं कि पुनः वापसी कर रहा है और जो उनका संकल्प है भारत को जोड़ने का, हरियाणा के लोगों को जोड़ने का, उनको न्याय दिलाने का, लोगों की आवाज उठा करके बाबा साहब के संविधान की जिस तरीके से रक्षा करने का उन्होंने संकल्प लिया है, आरक्षण को जिस तरीके से उन्होंने बात कही है, जो 7 गारंटियां दी है जाति जनगणना से लेकर के, और मैं समझता हूं कि हर क्षेत्र में शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, किसानों को और ज्यादा ताकत मिले, हर वर्ग खुशहाल हो, कर्मचारियों को लगातार 10 वर्ष, नौजवान, कर्मचारी, किसान, गरीब आदमी ये तो बेचारे पिटते रहे। तो ऐसे में जो बहुत उम्मीद के साथ हरियाणा के लोगों ने एक बार फिर कांग्रेस पार्टी के ऊपर विश्वास जताया है और जो बात हम लोगों ने कही थी कि हाथ बदलेगा हालात, वो सार्थक होती दिख रही है और कहीं ना कहीं वही हालात बदलने के लिए पार्टी ने घोषणाएं करी थी कि भाई हम आएंगे तो 2000 रुपए हर माह गृहिणी को देंगे, जो 6000 रुपए है वो बुढ़ापा पेंशन, विकलांग, विधवा पेंशन वो देंगे, एमएसपी की गारंटी देंगे कानूनी रूप से। तो बहुत से वायदे हैं जिनको पूरा करने के लिए पूरा रोड मैप तैयार किया। जिस दिन आदरणीय हमारे कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी ने घोषणा पत्र जारी किया था, उस दिन भी कहा था कि एक एक लाइन इसकी पड़ी है और जब ये कसौटी पर खरा उतरा है, जब हमने पूरा इसका आर्थिक तौर पे विश्लेषण कर लिया है, उसके बाद ही इसको आगे लोगों के बीच में हम लेकर के गए हैं। मैं सबका धन्यवादी हूं। हरियाणा के सभी मतदाताओं का 2 करोड़ 80 लाख लोगों की जो भावना है उसके अनुरूप जनादेश ही आएगा। सभी कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ताओं, नेताओं ने पूरी ताकत लगाई और मैं समझता हूं कि जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने कोशिश करी थी कि भाई हम हर तरीके तिकड़म लगाएंगे, तो हर तिकड़म की काट जो है वो जनता के वोट के पास होती है। जनता ने जनादेश कांग्रेस के पक्ष में दे दिया। बहुत बहुत
एग्जिट पोल आया है, क्या मानना है आपका?
देखिए, एग्जिट पोल
Let's take a look at the developments in culture and tourism now. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, who happens to be the Union Minister of Culture and Tourism, he has remarked that Navratri, the upcoming Navratri, is a festival which is rich in spiritual and cultural significance, marking the seasonal transitions throughout the year. He highlighted the joyous and the enthusiastic celebrations of this festival across the various provinces in India. Shekhawat has extended his heartfelt wishes to the people of Jodhpur, emphasizing the importance of unity and cultural heritage during this entire festive season.
खूब सारी शुभकामनाएं मिली, अंत शुभकामनाएं।
देखिए, नवरात्रि भारतीय सनातन सभ्य परंपरा में साल में ऋतु संक्रमण के काल के समय में 9 दिन तक जब ऋतु परिवर्तित हो रही हो तब उसके भौतिक महत्ता, उसकी आध्यात्मिक महत्ता और सांस्कृतिक महत्ता, इन तीनों से जुड़ा हुआ पर्व है और इस दृष्टिकोण से निश्चित ही अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण भी है। भौतिक दृष्टिकोण से जब ऋतु का परिवर्तन हो रहा है तब हमारे आहार में, विहार में, सब में परिवर्तन व्यक्ति को करने की आवश्यकता है और उसके लिए उस संक्रमण के काल में एक विराम देने की व्यवस्था जो है व्रत और उपवास के माध्यम से हमारे ऋषियों मनीषियों ने की। यदि इसके आध्यात्मिक दृष्टिकोण से देखा जाए तो भी इस 9 दिन के इस संक्रमण के काल में, ऋतु संक्रमण के काल में साधना की भी विशेष महत्ता हमारे ऋषियों मनीषियों ने स्थापित की। और सांस्कृतिक दृष्टिकोण से भी 9 दिन तक अलग अलग प्रांतों में, अलग अलग प्रदेशों में अलग अलग दृष्टिकोण से इस पर्व को उल्लास के साथ में भारतीय परंपरा में मनाया जाता है। मारवाड़ में भी नवरात्रि का विशेष महत्ता है। मैं सभी मारवाड़ वासियों को, जोधपुर के निवासियों को नवरात्रि के पर्व की विशेष शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूँ, अशेष शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूँ।
आगे जाए यार, नहीं रोके मुझे ध्यान है, नहीं यार नहीं रोके यार। बड़ा सारे काफी
If you think that hard work doesn't kill you, viewers, then think again. And now we are coming to the top story, the special focus for this bulletin. This is the special focus for this afternoon. Thailand recently has reported a case in Bangkok where a senior employee of a media organization died from overwork. And this story went viral on social media. Recently, the story of a senior employee of a television channel in Thailand who suddenly died at his work desk was widely shared on social media. A Facebook post described how the senior employee was overworked by his employer. He regularly worked overtime, 7 days a week at times, and there was no one else to stand in for him. He reportedly had underlying diseases including diabetes and high blood pressure. The post was flooded with thousands and thousands of comments expressing sympathy for the man while sharing their own experiences of having to work tirelessly for their companies to the point that it adversely affected their health. Well, so far the post has been shared over 25,000 times and has attracted more than 37,000 reactions. Unfortunately, these tragic stories are nothing new. In Japan, a 31-year-old journalist at the country's public broadcaster NHK died in 2013 from karoshi, the Japanese term for death from overwork, after logging 159 long hours of overtime in 1 month, just 1 month. The notorious death, which was made public in 2017, mind you, after 4 years of this incident taking place, this news was made public. This has pressured Japanese authorities to address the increasing number of deaths caused by its harsh work culture, particularly where employees are expected to commit to long working hours. In fact, harsh work cultures often lead to burnout. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 pandemic has made people extremely aware of the problems, and they are now placing more importance on what is called a work-life balance. Nowadays, more and more younger workers are willing to quit their jobs without having a new job to even fall back on. It has also resulted in new working trends such as quiet quitting, with workers setting clear boundaries at work and not going beyond their responsibilities in order to prioritize their family, friends, hobbies, or simply life and health. And the story does not end here, viewers. Listen to this one from India itself. Being a chartered accountant is a matter of pride in India. In 2023, just last year, 26-year-old Anna Pirail became one. She became a CA. She passed her CA exams with distinction. And in March this year, March, she landed her first job with EY, that's Ernst & Young, one of the big 4 accounting firms in the world, viewers. Pirail then took to LinkedIn and she made a public announcement about her dream job. But 4 months later, she was dead. Recently, her grieving mother, Anita Augustine, penned an open letter. She wrote to EY and accused the company of overworking her daughter. She brought up, and I'm quoting, she brought up words like, phrases like, relentless demands, unrealistic expectations, bombarding the daughter with work messages and glorification of overwork. She claims rather, that her daughter was suffering from anxiety, sleeplessness and stress due to this. One day, things went out of whack. They went out of control. Things got so bad that she had to be rushed to a hospital where she was treated for exhaustion. Reports say later she died of a heart attack. Her mother adds in the letter that Pirail's co-workers also skipped her funeral. Now these words in this case have shaken up workers everywhere. There is a wave of reactions. Thousands of people in India, they have taken to social media. They are now sharing condolences, they are empathizing and sharing their own horror stories at work. They are calling for accountability in corporate offices. Meanwhile, EY has also issued a statement. They have condoled the death, no doubt, but they have denied all the allegations. The EY India chairman says, and I'm quoting, "We have around 1 lakh employees. There's no doubt each one has to work hard. Anna worked with us only for 4 months. She was allotted work like any other employee. We don't believe that work pressure could have claimed her life," unquote. This has invited more backlash. Social media users are calling this a typical corporate response, and while the concern so far is valid, these are only allegations against EY. The centre did launch a probe and the results are yet awaited. But viewers, all this debate does highlight a problem that we have raised before, on this special story this afternoon. How overwork kills people. In fact, overwork is killing people across the world. Earlier this year, another Chinese man died. He worked for 104 days continuously. 104 days with just 1 day off. He died from organ failure. The court ruled that his employer was 20% liable for the death, whatever that means. But let's get back to Anna Pirail from India. A 26-year-old female employee of a large firm passes away, viewers, because of extreme work conditions and pressures that she was put through by her management. The doctors had to give her medication because of quote-unquote lack of food and lack of sleep that she had due to the stress at work. And what makes me really sad and angry at the same time is even though she gave her blood, sweat, literally to the organization, nobody, absolutely nobody from the organization showed up at her funeral. This just tells me that these HR policies, these employee benefits, these so-called wellness programs are all just words on paper, but not an action in reality in some of the biggest firms of our country. The reality, viewers, is this. Work-life balance is not a jargon. It's not a fancy jargon to be spoken about in HR conversations. It's a practice to be put in action on an everyday basis. Do people have to stretch to achieve their targets sometimes? To meet customer expectations at times? Yes, the answer is yes. But that stretching cannot happen on a daily basis because that will only lead to people collapsing. And if, as organizations, as managements, people do not have that empathy for their own team members, then these are just sweatshops of exploitation. Viewers, the story does not end here. Now, Let's take a look at this problem from a slightly different lens, that of an employer, that of an organization. If you are in a frenzy, it is you, not the job or the school. That is the real talk. But those are not my words. This is a message from world famous billionaire Jamie Dimon, the chairman and CEO of JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the United States. We are telling you this because Dimon is now going viral. An old video of his has resurfaced and it has now triggered a debate. Listen to this video.
Only once. Okay, I have 3 types of reading: very fast, very slow. So the very slow is the complex. I really need to think about it. The very fast might be a magazine. I just want to see they're interested in there or something like that. And people don't run their lives efficiently. And I'm sure you've seen even in school here, the people are frenzied. They're always frenzied. They're late. They can't get back. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I couldn't get this done. I got my cases. I couldn't do this. If you're frenzied, it's you. It's not the school. It's not the job. It's you, because a lot of us aren't frenzied. I'm never late, almost never late. I'm not frenzied. I have a nice follow-up list. I know exactly what people are doing. I schedule time, for myself for exercise and for, making my phone calls. And if I didn't do it this morning, I would feel harried if I wasn't all caught up, So work really smart. Learn how to work smart, and then impart your life. I think it's really difficult when you have children. That does burn the candle at both ends. My advice to men is you better drop watching every football game and playing golf on both Saturday and Sunday. Do something with your kids. And if you don't, it's neglect. Okay, you call it whatever you want, but it's neglect. I have a lot of friends who complain about they have enough family time, but they go play golf on Saturday and Sunday. I'm playing golf on Saturday and Sunday means you wake up at 7 or 8, you go play golf for 3 hours, you have lunch, usually Bloody Mary, you go home and take a nap. Okay, and then you go to dinner with friends.
Viewers, Dimon is talking about work-life balance in this video. He says that maintaining this balance is a personal responsibility. It is your job, not your company's. And his comments have garnered some support. Some users on X are calling it great advice for both life and work. But others are also criticizing him. One of them says it's easier said than done, and then goes on to list their packed schedule. Another says there is room to increase efficiency, but there is also a workload threshold. With too much work, frenzy is bound to set in, and then it is the company's role and responsibility to prevent this, unquote. So, the debate lies here. The question, the inevitable question lies here. Who is responsible for protecting this work-life balance? Employers and companies, or the employees themselves? That is the debate, and that's what we are also addressing this afternoon. But first, let's answer this. What exactly is work-life balance? It is the ability to compartmentalize job, tasks, and life. But there is no clear-cut definition, no clear barriers between the two. It is highly subjective. And this definition has changed dramatically since the rise of remote work. It has gone beyond paid time off and free gym membership at work. Now, flexible schedules are considered a part of healthy work-life balance. So is a healthy environment at work, or open, healthy dialogue between employees and the employers. Essentially, whatever helps workers to create the life and work they want. And that's a huge playing ground, viewers. Are companies really obliged to help cultivate it? According to one survey, 43% of the workers say no. It is not the company's responsibility. They believe that the responsibility falls clearly on individuals, 43%. But if the same Jamie Dimon looked at the survey, he would most likely disagree. Hear him yourself, and not just the bit that is going viral, but the whole explanation. Take a look at this video once again.
Play golf on Saturday and Sunday. I'm playing golf on Saturday and Sunday means you wake up at 7 or 8, you you go play golf for 3 hours, you have lunch, usually Bloody Mary, you go home and take a nap. Okay, and then you go to dinner with friends. You know, you should have done something with your family. And so you can do it. And if you're a woman, I think it's even harder. You know, and I think there's some jobs that are really conducive to helping you, and some aren't. You know, and you got to think that through a little bit. And one of the greatest speeches I ever saw a woman give was have it all at the same time. And just be a little thoughtful how you manage your life. And that could be a man who's got to stay home to take care of kids or sick parents or something like that. And so it's a long race, and you can pretty much do it all. But you got to make sure you save time for yourself to do those things. And even the toughest job, you can do that. You can have work-life balance. I tell people at JP Morgan Chase, it is your job to take care of your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, your friends, your family, your health. Your job. It's not our job. So I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding that some of the companies, now we should do everything we can to help you. I tell people we give you medical, shrinks, Pilates, massages. I mean, we really do try to take care of our people. But I can't make up for you not doing those other things, and you really have to do it yourself. Most people don't work very smart. So first off, work smart. Now, I deal with emails and phone calls generally once. Okay, I have 3 types of reading: very fast, very slow. So, you know, the very slow is the complex. I really need to think about. The very fast might be a magazine. I just want to see that interesting in there or something like that. And you know, people don't run their lives efficiently. And I'm sure you've seen even in school here, you know, the people are frenzied. They're always frenzied. They're late. They can't get back. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I couldn't get this done. I got my cases. I couldn't do this. If you're frenzied, it's you. It's not the school. It's not the job. It's you, because a lot of us aren't frenzied. I'm never late, almost never late. I'm not frenzied. I have a nice follow-up list. I know exactly what people are doing. I schedule time, you know, for myself for exercise and for, you know, making my phone calls. And if I didn't do it this morning, I would feel harried if I wasn't all caught up, you know. And so work really smart. Learn how to work smart, and then in parts of your life, I think it's really difficult when you have children.
Now viewers, please don't get us wrong. We are not billionaire biased, but let's face the hard facts here. What he says does make sense. We talk about work-life balance. How about we balance responsibility? Responsibility sharing as well. This is a new era of work where people see work-life balance as a highly personalized package, as a capacity to bend work around their individualistic needs. So this time, workers are defining what that balance constitutes. Workers rather than companies. But companies too have a role to play. They are to help maintain a healthy workplace. They have to make sure that employees are treated fairly. That is the bare minimum. But at the end of the day, it is the company that we work for. It is not our parent. It is not our life coach. So we have to do our bit as well. We have to set clear boundaries, prioritize our own well-being, and take advantage of the benefits that we do get from our companies. For instance, 46% of the American workers, they hardly use all their paid time off. Can you believe that? Plus, we have to accept that work-life balance is not going to be the same for everyone. It is not about equal time spent in each place, work and life. It is about making this relationship between the two a healthy one. And no one knows that better than you yourself. Our companies, note this, they are definitely not our parents or life coaches. And a bit of that responsibility of maintaining a healthy relationship between work and life falls on our shoulders. And although, at the same time, I will also add, a work-life balance is important, the idea of working hard to get somewhere in life remains prominent too. It is extremely prominent in the Southeast Asian culture. It is extremely prominent in the Thai working culture too. Whether it's to earn a promotion or a salary increase or any other reasons. And this has led to an unimaginable tragedy, which is death from overwork. According to a study by the World Health Organization and the International Labour Organization, long working hours led to 745,000 deaths from stroke and ischemic heart disease in 2016, and that is a 29% increase since the year 2000. The study has also stated that working 55 or more hours per week is associated with an estimated 35% higher risk of stroke and a 17% higher risk of dying from heart disease compared to working 35 to 40 hours a week. Ultimately, work is not your family and work is not your life. One lesson that we've learned from today's special story, one lesson that we've learned is that even if you're gone, your employer can always find someone else to replace you. But you viewers, you will remain irreplaceable to your family and your loved ones. And that, viewers, is our top story for today. You can follow us on all our social media and our website for more news and updates. But that is all for today's special story. I shall meet you once again during prime time at 7 p.m. tonight. Until then, Jai Hind, Namaskar, and keep watching CVR English for more news and updates.